Hello again, this is Matt and this is Whatcast. So, the Thickest Flat Earther has been at it again. He is spotting that people are the same person. Like, again, you just can't fool this guy. Anybody that looks alike, he'll look at your scars, he'll look at your moles. Anyone that's died from the celebrity world, he will find someone that they actually became. Even if they was, until he finds out they was in the same room together, and then he pretends they're father and son. He did that with Jelly Roll and Kevin James. But today, he's doing it with wrestling legend Andre the Giant. Standing there looking at this enormous, ridiculous bloke here that's how tall he was, and Andre the Giant wasn't a giant because this bloke was bigger. Anyway, let's listen to what Flat Earther, Captain Chin, has to say on this matter. Let's go.
In this earth, and I'm not talking about Andre, and I'm not even talking about Robert Wadlow, who stood at 8 feet 11 tall, the tallest human ever on record that they tell us about. And I'll get back to Andre in a minute. You see, there is endless information about a certain institute hiding this from us and not allowing it in museums and literally covering it up. And we're not just talking 8, 9 foot, 10-foot giants. No, giants as big as 12 and 15 feet. Endless real newspaper articles talking about very big giants. And it's biblical.
It's biblical. Yeah, because there's been a couple of newspaper articles. There must be real. There's also been loads of newspaper articles on the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot. By the way, there, Fittest Flat Earther.
They talk about giants dozens of times in the Bible. And not just this size giant, but giants that, unless you get the right perspective of, you might not even notice.
What? He's doing that thing again where he's pretending that that's a face of a giant, that the mountains are all just faces of giants. Bit weak there, Fittest. Speaking of wrestling, this bloke should probably get into the ring with Andre, well, if Andre was still here, and try and clothesline him with that chin.
That's the Teton Mountains. Kind of sounds a lot like Titan.
No.
But back to Andre the Giant. You see, they tell us, and well...
They tell us all the time. They tell us their plans, karmic law, apparently.
If there were still bloodlines around of the fallen angels who mated with women and created the giants, the Nephilim, I wonder if they'd be protected. Do you think they'd be protected? Like if they were of that bloodline and they had some ability to help these individuals live longer than normal lives?
Yeah, they must all be of the same bloodline, all these people. Andre the Giant looks like all of them people, obviously the same bloodline.
Maybe they would fake their deaths.
Maybe they would fake their death.
And they would become other people. And if that's what
maybe they wouldn't.
It is, if it's bloodline, well, I bet Andre's part of that bloodline. Because after all, he is still pretty giant. That's Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold's about 3'1".
And you see, even though they said he was 7'4", they say he was closer to about 6'11". And thanks so much to a subscriber who pointed out that there is someone, an athlete in fact, that stands right around that same height. He's Russian and a boxer, and his name is Nikolai
Valuev. And this guy, to suggest that this person is actually Andre the Giant, is probably the stupidest. This person is actually this person that Chinister has ever done, right?
And he just happens to bear a very similar resemblance to Andre.
Yeah, it slightly does in that picture, but then if you quickly go to any other picture of him, does he look anything like Andre there? No, he fucking doesn't. He just does in that particular picture that you've picked out, that when they're both smiling, they've got a similar gum line, and they've both got similar foreheads and similar features because they both had the same similar condition that causes all of your hands and feet and head to continue growing. What was it called? I forgot what it's called. Let me just tell you. It was called acromegaly. Acromegaly. That might not be what it's called, but that's how it's spelled. I'm spelling it out phonetically because I'm a bit of a fucking idiot, right? So let's play on and see what else Fittest is talking about here with this one.
Even down to those chiclet teeth. But a lot of you will go running to the internet and say, well, he's only 52, and if Andre were still alive, he'd be 80.
The fact is they was alive at the same time is the thing that you always miss because you're thick as shit.
Well, yeah, that's because you just don't realize that they can reduce their age. And they're disclosing that with Kris Jenner. That's her. Because she guzzled some rhymes with a Brina Brome.
Guzzled?
For those of you caught up to my vampire videos. If not, you should scroll a day or two. Anyway, back to Andre and Nikolai, who again, just seems like maybe he got in better shape.
He looks nothing like him. He got in better shape, dropped age by like 40. Andre died in 93. So he then de-aged him, changed his body completely, changed everything about him completely. If you ever see Andre move trying to wrestle, it was pathetic towards the end of his life, whereas Valuev actually became the heavyweight champion of the world boxing. When Andre threw a punch, they sent a carrier pigeon to tell the other person it was coming because it took so fucking long to get there.
But it couldn't possibly be the same being, right? Not possible.
Right.
Well, they sure start their sentences the same way. I wonder if they move alike and talk alike.
That don't make a difference. Bobby Heenan is my manager now. I'm still a professional wrestler.
Are we also going to ignore the fact that I believe Valuev was Russian and Andre was French?
And I'm still wrestling the way I know how to wrestling. But that day, the only guy who showed up was Bobby Heenan. And that was the only way can I get.
Why is he pulling a face like, yeah, look, listen, they sound identical, these two. No, they don't. One's Russian, one's fucking French.
My license back.
I just heard a parrot in the background there saying, fuck off, Fittest Flat Earther, you're a knob.
But if that side by side wasn't good enough for you.
Again, what about that one? That's what he normally looks like. You just found one picture where he didn't look like that.
I went ahead and did another. And everything smooths over perfectly. Eyebrow to eyebrow to eye to janky teeth. Kind of look.
Don't you mean manky? Let's ignore the fact that Andre's was also black around the tops and Valuev's are not.
Looks like a vampire's teeth, if you ask me.
Vampire's teeth.
The chin's the same, the nose the same. Look right here. Look at his dent right there.
Yeah. Do you know what causes that dent right there? The condition that they both had that made their bone structure grow that way. If you did any research, you would have known that.
Speaking of vampires, I'm not even gonna go there. But if you know me at all, you know.
Why not?
I'm not going forward with this unless I find something like a very noticeable
like two completely different marks.
Scar there and one there that seem to look pretty identical in the exact same place. But there's more. Like another scar right there that seems to look exactly like that in their head.
Yeah, completely different angle, completely different scar.
They're at a little different angle and a birthmark there and a birthmark there that seems to resemble that one.
Zoom in on anyone's skin and you'll find this shit.
And that one in exact relation to each other.
Yep.
Now can you guess?
Well, that's convinced me. The scar's a bit.
Guess who those two belong to? Can you guess?
Oh, look, a picture of Valuev that looks nothing like Andre.
They're vampires. Literal vampires. And you know who else isn't gone? You want to know who else isn't gone? Because they're
The Hulkster!
all part of the Fallen Angel Bloodline Club. In fact, I think he is actually just a fallen.
Yeah, that was from an event called WrestleMania 4. that Donald Trump hosted at his Trump Plaza in Atlantic City in New Jersey in 1988. That isn't a picture of them all out to dinner because they're all related.
The fallen angel, in fact. You know, the one from the bottomless pit named Abaddon, or Abaddon.
Abaddon. He's got us there.
But of course, all this for entertainment purposes, folks. I'm just here.
I've got my own suspicions about this guy that I'm going to get into in a minute, about who he actually is.
Find these things that line up so well because of coincidence, and I do it to entertain you. I don't really care about exposing all these Nephilim bloodline to the
It's just as well because you're not exposing anything.
fallen angel, Luciferian, Masonic, deceiving.
Masonic?
I don't really care about that. No, I spend all my time doing it just to entertain you. Entertainment only, people. I'm sure they're not the same, even though they have the exact same humps above their eyelids. Have a nice day.
Yeah, just them humps above their, because no one else in the world's got that, even other than every person with this condition that have all got that. But there he is. Now look at him down there. He's telling you to have a nice day. Let's see if he's going to have a nice day, because I've found out who he actually is. And they're all related, these people. Right? This is him. That is him. But who is he really? Let's see, shall we? He's him. That is the man with the, I don't know what his name is, but he has got the biggest chin in the world. And if you do this, you look at the chin. I think that this is a fraud. And if this is not the same person, then Thickest Flat Earther has got this man out-chinned. As far as I'm concerned. Let's look at the toe there. Which chin? Vote in the comments. Which chin is bigger? This man, who, I don't know where he's from, but possibly
China,
or this Thickest Flat Earther there. There he is with a globe behind him. And while we're on the subject of thick flat earthers, hi Twatsoid, by the way. There you are. And when you look at this bloke, right, Twatsoid, he's got this kind of weird robotic nothing happening that someone described him to me the other day as the opposite of an orgasm. This bloke, Flatsoid. And his face he just looks permanently stunned, looks permanently confused, nothing happening, beige, boring, featureless face. I figured out who he actually is. You never see him in the same room together. There's Twatsoid, and there's Twatsoid. They both upright, metallic, robotic, boring, not funny, irrelevant dickheads. And they look like the same person. Review that. Please subscribe. See you later.